Chapter 41. The End of an Era. Hey, Ed. Everybody's heading out to Charlie's farm this weekend. Want to go? Well, Ed did want to go, but he hung his head and mumbled, I can't. Why not? Well, I have to go home. My mom's having a baby. At nearly 20 years of age, it was a little embarrassing to say your mom was having another baby. She'd already had 5. It had been nearly 10 years since the last one. What were his parents thinking? Well, one thing his mother was thinking was she was tired of not having running water in the house. Oh, she joked about her running water as her sons ran out the back door with buckets, racing up the 200-yard path to the well and back. Wash days were murder. She made it a bit easier on her kids by doing 3 loads of laundry with just 1 washer full of water. She started with the whites, then the colored clothes. By the time she was washing the boys' jeans, the water was only a bit less muddy than the jeans. Not having running water in the house had been a hardship on everyone. But now she was putting her foot down. She refused to bring a new baby home if there was no toilet and sink. After all, what was so great about an outhouse? It was cold in the winter, drew flies in the summer, and it was such a long way from the house. When it eventually filled up, a new hole had to be dug and the outhouse drug over to the new spot. One time when the family had just moved the outhouse, their cow got in trouble. Unaware of the change, she walked across the fresh dirt sprinkled over the old outhouse hole. When the boys heard the cow bawling, they rushed out the back door to find her sunk up to her chest. Her bony hips and back end were still high in the air. It took a rope and a concerted effort to haul Pumpkin out of that hole. Nobody wanted to go near her for a long time after that. The day finally came when their father lugged a shiny white porcelain toilet up the hill. He chivalrously gave up his little office in the back room and began sawing a hole through the floor to install pipes. Ed and his brothers had spent long hours digging a trench from the well to the house. Electric lines were hung, and a pump was lowered to the bottom of the well. A hole for the septic tank was dug, and a drain field put in. It was a monumental effort, and the boys hoped their baby brother would be worth it. When at last the family gathered for the first flush, they were thrilled to watch the water magically disappear down the drain and hear a trickle refilling the tank. No more long trots across the backyard, no more accidents with chicken poop and bare feet, no more squatting on chamber pots at night. It was a great day. It reminded Ed of a joke he'd heard. A little country boy was watching the plumbers install an indoor bathroom in his house. When he saw that it was fully functional, he raced out to the family outhouse perched on the creek bank. He was going to fulfill a lifelong dream. He put his shoulder to the outhouse and heaved. It began to rock. He heaved some more, and it rocked harder. With one last shove, the outhouse fell over the bank and landed with a satisfying splash in the creek. The little boy happily watched it float away. That night at supper, his father looked up from his plate and asked, "Anybody know what happened to the outhouse this afternoon?" The little boy's eyes got big, but he answered bravely, "Yes, Papa. I shoved it in the creek." His papa stood up, took hold of the scruff of his son's neck, and hauled him out back to the woodshed. After a good whipping, the little boy stood rubbing his backside. "It ain't fair, Papa," he said. "We studied George Washington in school, and when he told the truth about cutting down the cherry tree, his papa didn't give him a whipping." "Maybe so," admitted his papa, "but they was one big difference." "What's that?" His papa wasn't sitting in the tree when George cut it down.